Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one ring, let we rule them all. Hope people remember your house. Get your Uru feathers and your Middle guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Use Valerian steel it will get you to come. To the pit tank. To the pit tank. The Rocky Mountain pit tank.
Hi, I'm Guy,
Hi, I'm Alex.
and this is Geek Tank, your We Don't Know Where Troy Is size podcast.
Oh, I guess you didn't get that text. He sent the text to both of us saying that he was feeling poorly and that if he was feeling better, he would come on. But then he isn't here, so I guess he's asleep. Rest is best. So
Yeah,
Daniel
it's
Tiger.
literally not here. I've got Okie Dokie from you, and then I was like, I feel like I missed something because I was like, I
Weird.
don't know.
Weird.
I mean, you replied to him, so
Yeah.
it stands to reason that it should be here. But through the vagaries of technology. So I've
Air is
been sitting
human.
here going, where's Troy?
Well, Guy, as the only other person who can send out the studio link, I hereby grant you the power and abilities to do so.
Didn't want to do it on top of Troy. That's all.
Oh, well, okay, you like the bottom for him. Got it. Geek
Yep.
Tank After Dark, people. Us and our 0 viewers right now.
Right? All 0 of our. Well, we have 1 viewer.
We do? Oh, Brett, you're so sweet.
It's Brent. He's somewhere out there. Somewhere out there. Anyway, so what's going on? What are you people doing? What's going on? All of a sudden, I've got stuff going and running all of a sudden.
Yeah, you've got this weird echo reverb thing going on.
Yeah, some things are not responding well to my new setup.
Some things don't. It's Sheets, not even Brent.
It's Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
We love you, Bob. It's one of those things. So anyway, let's see if I can do something about my.
Well, while Guy is sorting out his audio interest-ending difficulties, this last weekend we got together and did a kind of session 0.1 for Earth Dawn. We had people lose character sheets. We had people doing some other stuff. Theatrhythm Final Fantasy. I love that game. I full completed it because I'm a crazy person. But no, so got back on the Earth Dawn wagon for the game that I was running before the vid hit, and got people together, and we're gonna try to get everybody in person next weekend. So I do some character creation stuff with a couple of the players, or character creation and character recreation this following week. So yeah, and I also loaned the one of the first edition books I have, main books, to a friend of mine who was just interested in the setting. I'm like, here you go. Enjoy. Prepare to have your mind blown.
I was saying that if you need to creep along past the return date of no, this is I don't think you're starting all the way over, are you?
Well, no, I mean, go ahead and finish your thought, and then I'll answer Bob.
I was just saying, if you need to creep past the original return point, I think everybody who is on hiatus and break would be more than willing to accommodate that.
Oh yeah,
you missed a week, and then I realized that I will probably be going to San Antonio on the Saturday immediately following James's return, and so I've got to go see what it's a long story, but
yeah.
My sister is about to receive a pod full of my dad's stuff and needs to have it processed quickly before her HOA freaks out about a pod sitting in front of her house. So I'm going to have to head down for spring break to San Antonio to break down that pod for her and help her with that. And
and then like Jeff goes spring break. My mom and stepdad will be visiting us as well. So I mean, there's going to be all sorts of having to be flexible. Let's use just general gaming stuff and yada yada.
the 25th is also a mini con, which I think I will be at tabling. So, that's the 18th and the 25th, and I'll be back obviously from the con, but I figure that might also be a good time for you to continue on, because then I can go to bed and go to sleep and go.
True. So to answer Brent's question, Troy had sent out a text to both of us that he was feeling a little bit under the weather. He may not be doing the podcast, and then Guy didn't get that actual message.
Right.
So
I got Alex's response where Alex said, "Okay." So all of a sudden my phone goes ping, and I look at it and Alex goes, "Okay." And then I'm like, I missed something here, and I sent that.
Yeah, and like
we responded.
We've been so busy here. Like I finally had a few moments right about 9 to like relax, and we've been doing some pre-cleaning, yada yada. But no, so that's what happened with the broadcast. It's unintentional. I'm still not a fully matriculated member of the Rocky Mountain Geek Tank, so I can't start the cast.
And I wasn't going to, because I wasn't sure where Troy was. Usually Troy starts it, because of the fact that Troy has sort of an idea of what he wants to write, a little joke about what to call it, and the episode. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, they didn't want to get into trouble on who was going to be on top tonight and all that. Anyway.
Yep.
So
it's an important thing when it comes to Troy and me.
To answer Bob's question, is that I was running an Earthdawn game, test playing the 4th edition rule set, while basically running Canned Adventures, just to get my GMing chops a little bit better and stuff. And then I had we were in the middle of our like second adventure, when the vid really rolled through, and I was like, it's hard enough getting to the horror mindset around the gaming table and live in person, much less trying to do it over Discord or Zoom when people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm really scared of that," as I check my email, And so we were at actually a pretty good place to pause the game. It was just a nice pause in the story of the adventure, and then I was like, okay, well, we're back to gaming again. It's only one game a week. We decided to pause the D&D game. Like, you know what? I'd like to finish that adventure.
Right.
Just to get it in the can, and then we can figure out what we want to do. If we want to start doing it like 2 games a week, or maybe 1.5 games a week, or like every other week or something, depending on how childcare and stuff works out. And so that's what we're going to do. I don't think it should take more than 3 sessions to really get through the adventure, but you never know. Sometimes things go slow, sometimes go really fast. We'll figure it out. I'll roll with it. The new job, I don't actually start the new job until a week from today. My orientation is the 27th. I thought it was going to start. But it hasn't yet, because just things are slow for the onboarding, and I bet the holiday has something to kind of throw into the gumming in the works and stuff. And my orientation is going to be on Monday via video. Then I go into the office on Tuesday, and then I'm going to start like basically reading the giant rule books, dealing with my new job as they onboard me to the actual training. During the training time, it's going to be, for the first few months, it's going to be Monday through Friday, 8-hour shifts. And then it's going to switch over to 410s. And I think when we do the switch over, it's also going to be 2 or 3 days out of those 4 to being remote. So I'm like, oh, well, okay, can't argue with that commute. I'm still looking forward to it. I'm still pretty jazzed, and like I said, like I'm going to be doing character creation stuff on Earthdawn. I don't know about you, I love helping my friends navigate complex systems, which is why I'm like excited about this job. I'll be helping people navigate the social safety net during difficult times in their lives. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 410s just because, every weekend's a 3-day weekend. Help, help. No, please. Anything but that. So yeah, I haven't started it yet, but I have high hopes. I've been in communication with my future supervisor a little bit, and she seems pretty cool and very understanding about how long it takes to actually get somebody truly proficient in the job. She says about a year, and I'm like, yeah, that's about right from what I understand. And just the fact that she was A, cognizant of that, and
Mhm.
B, willing to say it as opposed to no, you'll be fine. you know no, I actually like I'm hopeful. I'll be working for Jefferson County, and it's working for long-term eligibility, so basically entry-level social work is what I'll be doing. So yeah,
Which is
and it's time for our sponsors already.
already? Good heavens. Well, let's talk about our sponsors then, shall we? Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, and
Your
Mom.
mom.
Also, little shout out to Thane's Table, which is at 88th and Wadsworth. Looks like they're already kind of in a little bit of hot water already. So if you can help them out, do so.
What happened?
It just happened to be they opened in the winter, in a COVID winter. And so they're short on money and they're, pinching pennies wherever they can, but it's,
Got it. I guess I got to
Rocky
look at their
descent.
hours of operation and go have a beer there or something. Cool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is I'm just, just let's get in there. They're going to do at some point, I think on March 4th, they're going to do an auction of games, and they're looking for people who will donate games to auction. So
cool. Yeah, we
think about.
we haven't been there yet, but excuse me. They'd help out at my wife's library.
Yeah,
doing some gaming events and stuff, and apparently they've been very cool.
Yeah, they seem like good people, and they're that's correct. They're looking for DM time donations as well. They seem like good folks, and they are really close. Mm-hmm. They're right up there by the Dunkin' Donuts and the BK at 88th and Wads. So, just catty corner from the Wendy's and the Taco Bell. So
Taco.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, and I'll
definitely go in and just soak it in a little bit. Maybe take some magic cards, see if I can.
What I'm thinking too is maybe I'll just head over there at some point and really just try to.
I'll be like,
nerd. Oh wait, that says gamer. Oh, I was waiting for nerd here. Yeah.
Nope, it says gamer.
Oh. Anyway. So yeah, that's something to think about. Hope that they can, get a little bit of help there and stuff like that, and all will be good.
Cool.
So
cool.
Kind of, I was talking earlier today. There, internal family conflict, obviously. It is very far. It is pretty far away from you, Bob, and I know that. But I mean, it's, for us, it's right up the street. So really should be, patronizing it more often. Going over there and going, oh, what a cute little store. Oh, wait.
No, I just want to succeed. It's like I loved having the Adventurers Guild in Old Town while they were operating. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
It
was nice, and it was sad to see them go, and I still have a playmat from them. It's very far from you, Brent.
Yeah, we know you're only audience members. Don't rub it in.
Right.
Could I some tears now? Could I tears?
Anyway, I'm having some conflict going on in the family, and I was thinking about grudges in a way and holding grudges. And not holding grudges and things like that, because I've sort of made it up ever since my mom passed away 20 years ago. She passed away with a couple of outstanding "I'm not talking to yous" to a couple of friends, where she'd gotten into a conflict with them and they decided not to talk to each other for a while, and then she died. And I've that's weighed heavily on me, and I have worked really hard since then to make sure that any friendships that I have, I hold on to. And I try really, really hard not to hold grudges and not to get really mad and keep them. And I've noticed that sometimes that has sort of an interesting effect with other friends. Like, oh, well, you're friends with Alex. I'm mad at Alex. So why are you friends with Alex? Sort of thing. And it's like, it's one of those things that's very interesting, because I had a conflict at one point in time with one of my other buddies about, deciding that I wasn't going to jump on a bandwagon against another friend. And they were like, well, you can't always play the middle. And I'm like sitting there going, actually, yes, I can. And I keep thinking about this a lot. And I was wondering what your opinion on this is. What's your thoughts?
My thought is that, well, I mean, there is a
I'm talking
saying
about
that
you specifically. I'm talking about, what are your thoughts on the idea of playing the middle, so to speak?
Oh, well, I mean, some things you can,
Yeah.
but everyone has hard lines,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so if something's a hard line for somebody, a hard boundary to cross for somebody, and isn't for somebody else, then that's between you two, kind of.
I know, right?
But it's sort of like, when it comes to, I mean, we're going to have conflicts where we have misunderstandings. We're not always at our best.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm going to call that one out, Brent.
you're allowing Brent to call you out? I don't know.
I'm calling out Brent calling me out. Wait.
All right.
Worked like I wanted to.
You fight. But
no.
And so it is interesting because I'm kind of in a sort of I don't know about the particulars of your situation that you're talking about, but I am kind of having the same kind of thing with someone who is an old and dear friend myself. And then, some of the details on that. And it's like, I do have one of our friends, mutual friends, is like, oh, well, you should do this, you should do that, you should do that. I'm kind of like, no, I don't have to let this person back in my life any more than I want to. It's not going to be the same. We're different people. And like people, I think, I mean, like I've got a million and a billion quotes, and like the only thing that can last forever is a grudge, is one that I picked up a while ago that I like a lot. But it's also, you have to figure out and I was actually, this is really funny. I was just actually talking about this. We were talking about this at 8th grade youth group, basically, this weekend. And it's, sorry as I parse this, you have to decide how much the relationship is worth to you. And if you want to hold a long grudge or not.
Which is kind of what Bob's saying over there, where he's saying life is too short for grudges. But he's also started letting friendships go for health reasons. Sometimes there's no fixing things. And
And grudge kind of does imply kind of like hard feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can just be like, you know what? This just isn't working for me. I don't think it's really working for you either. Maybe the best thing to do is to just set it down.
Yeah. There's multiple things that are going on in my life that are making me think about this. One, we have a buddy, Alex and I have a buddy who's in pretty sucky shape right now. And that's something that I'm thinking about a lot. But the other one is that book that I've been reading that I've been telling you about, the Bregman book. I'm reading his second book now, and it's really making me think a lot about whether, if okay, I'm mad at Alex because of X, Y, or Z. Did Alex mean to do that? Whatever X, Y, or Z was, or even more importantly, is Alex aware that X, Y, and Z is bad?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like these things.
Or maybe Alex did this thing inconsiderately, and maybe if we bring it to his attention, he'll be
Right.
like, "Oh wow, that was a real d-bag thing to do."
Or moreover, which I think has happened in our youth more. I say, Alex, you did X, Y, or Z, and you say, no, I didn't. I know I was doing A, B, and C.
Mm.
And then it takes 10 years, and you're like, oh, crap, I really was doing X, Y, and Z. I've seen that happen a lot in our group, too, where it's just the person doesn't yet have the maturity to see it. Yeah, I've been there. I mean, heck, B-Dan did that to me. Like, I remember B-Dan sitting down with me and going, you need to do this thing. And me going, nah, you're full of it. And then later on going, nah, he was right. But not until after B-Dan decided, you know what? I'm not dealing with Guy anymore. Like I tried and I was like, and then I looked back on it and I was like, oh man, what a dumb thing. Luckily, I think B-Dan's gotten way over that. That's way, way, way water under the bridge. But it's still, these things are making me think. More mortality, the time on this planet. What will be our memories when we go? These things are really kind of starting to make me kind of think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing, Brent's talking about a moral issue. I can't think of anybody. That's only the beginning. I can't think of any.
Mummy.
Right. I can't think of anybody in our group whom I actually have a moral conflict with. I'm thinking more along the lines of, I loaned a book to Alex. Alex lost the book somehow, and it was a very important book or something. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing, where that's the kind of stuff that I can think of that would occur in our group. Or moreover, Alex is, calling me funny names and I don't like it. And I tried to tell him, you were hurting my feelings. And Alex is like, okay, whatever, funny name, and you know what I mean? Like stuff like that's been the stuff that's always kind of happened with us. The conflict you're running into, Alex, with your friend is a little bit more complex than that.
Yes.
I haven't run into something like that per se with you guys, so I'm speaking solely from personal experience here.
Of course, no worries.
Like not trying to downplay your situation.
Oh yeah, no, I mean everybody's situations are different, everybody's relationships are different.
Yeah.
And like Brent says it's a moral issues can get in the way. It's like, yeah, it's
ambiguous.
It can be. I mean, different lines for different people.
Well, I was thinking about this. We've had conflicts in the art groups and things like that between people. This is another thing that's kind of brought up because, of course, my statement has always been with the art group that I'm staying friends with everybody unless they really torque me off. But I can only think at this point in time of them, mishandling my money, and therefore I won't give anybody money, even the ones I know really well.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like that's the standing rule, keeps us all above board, is because I just won't give, like if Alex and I wanted to make a comic book together, Alex pays for his printing, I pay for my printing. Never the twain shall meet. And I feel like that keeps us sane on the art side. But I also kind of feel like money messes up so many things. Money gets in the way. My sister and I have conflict over money that I borrowed from her when I was in my 20s, and that's still a conflict.
Yeah, people in our society just to say this, our society's weird about money.
It is. It is.
It is effort. It is just very personal that way, and it's rude to talk about how much money you make. So I was like, well, you kind of need to, so that way you know if you're getting screwed over by your boss, and
Talk about their money.
and if someone messes with your money, real or perceived, that most people will get upset about that.
Yeah. Yeah. The book talks about negativity bias, and that makes me think a lot. We default to negative. Alex is doing something that irritates me. Clearly, it's because he's a bad guy.
I am a bad guy.
Well, yeah, but my first thought isn't maybe I'm misunderstanding Alex. That's never your first thought. Your first thought is Alex is just being a jerk because he's mean and he's a terrible human or whatever. And I find that interesting. The more I look around, the more I see negativity bias in places. Now that I've become cognizant and aware of it,
yeah,
I start to see people default to negative, default to. I was reading about. Did you know that we were like literally a vote away from universal basic income? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Under Nixon,
Wow.
Nixon of all people. You know how much I hate Nixon. Now I've got to like him for something.
You don't have to like Nixon, but you can be like, hey, he pushed for this policy that I like.
It was part of Johnson's war on poverty.
Yeah.
And they came up with this idea for universal basic income. And it made it through the House and died on the Senate floor because nobody could agree on how much was universal basic income.
Right.
Whether it should be poverty level or above, or whether people should get more or whatever. But we almost had UBI here. And the conservatives liked it because it would have consolidated all the welfare programs under one program. The liberals liked it because it helped all the people who were in poverty.
Right.
But then we had the Dixiecrats, and the Dixiecrats killed it.
Died in the weeds.
Presumably because it would have caused an equality between the black people and the white people, which at the time was still quite an issue. And it's fascinating to me. The biggest problem was if we give everybody money, they won't work, which this book continues to say has been proven over and over and over scientifically is not true.
Yeah, most recently with the pandemic.
Right?
It's like people were out of work, people were getting money and getting extra money, and they were still doing things to, like, we're going to make tons of homemade masks and send them out to places that need them.
Right? Well, not only that, they furthered themselves. They made themselves into better positions. They put themselves into better jobs.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why we had such a problem with, all the fast food restaurants. Because they were crappy jobs. And everybody left.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like their entire business, or so much of their profit margin has been on crushing the worker.
Right. Well, that was the other thing he's talking about is the default belief that you have to ride herd on your workers. There's a company in Holland that was a bunch of nurses. It was palliative care for old age. So it was, I can't think of it. I keep thinking convalescence, and that's not the right word. But it was a bunch of nurses, and this guy took over the company. And when he did, the first thing he did was fire all the managers. And his reasoning was nobody knows the job better than the nurses do. So hospice, thank you. Thank you very much, Bob. That's exactly it. It was hospice care. And he's like, nobody knows better than the nurses. So he made the nurses into these groups of, 10 people. And yeah, about where I'm headed. That's about right. And he let them run it. and all he did was just direct calls to them and have them, whenever they came up with cool ideas, he'd transmit it to the other teams. And everybody then started working on better plans and better things. They all started working together. Everybody started, and now they're like the number one hospice care. They're super cheap because they've got no overhead because there's no managers. And you know what I mean? Like, and they're really, really good at their job. And because they've all been empowered to work together to the better deals, to work to do the job better. And it's fascinating. He's talked about that a number of times. There's a number of businesses that change the plan from our job is to make sure that Alex types in 3 letters every hour to, you know, we'll let Alex decide what Alex needs to do, you know, and when they do, they get a better response. And it's funny. I was having a discussion this morning with Bill, and he was talking about the price law, which is this law that was put out that said by this guy named Price, who says that when you have a number of workers, 50% of the work will be accomplished by the square of the number of people you have. And everybody quotes this law. Well, I went and looked it up. Nobody's got any scientific proof of this law. It just, this guy said it, and everybody went, yeah, that's right. Every time I do something,
yeah, I work really hard, and all these sons of bitches are just eating donuts and drinking coffee.
Right. And I'm like, there's no.
I deserve my donuts and coffee. That's son of a bitch. They sure doesn't fucking deserve.
But there's no scientific proof for it. Nobody's done a survey. Nobody's actually written down. Nobody's done anything to back this up. There's no science behind it. It's just some dude said it, and everybody went, yeah. And so here's this whole belief hinged on it. And so I actually was challenging Bill, and I'm like, Bill, go find proof that this thing, something peer-reviewed, anything peer-reviewed. Heck, I'll take somebody who just counted the people in his business. You know what I mean? Like anything. Because that's the thing that this book's coming up with. It's all peer-reviewed science. Like people did, an observation of 5,000 people and came up with this analysis, or they observed 47,000 children in the UK school system, or, you know what I mean? Like all of these things are huge, peer-reviewed, massive sciences that say that by default, if you empower the people, they do the right thing. And then there's all these, well, then Bob Smith over here said that people are sucky, and everybody went, yeah, that's right. There's nothing that backs that up.
Right.
And that's fascinating to me. I think of that a lot, and especially recently, faced with mortality, which, happens every so often. When my father passed away, when my mother passed away, it makes me stop and think, what's our legacy? What are we going to be leaving behind? And I'm not talking about, 7,000 years from now. And then there was Guy Davis, the most important person. And, I'm talking about, what are you going to remember of me? What's Bob going to remember of me? What's Brent going to remember of me, when I'm gone? And I don't really want you guys to go, well, I hated him. Like, that's not what I want you to remember. It's like, he was such a jerk. Especially if I had no intention of it. That'd really suck. I hated that guy. He stole that money from me. 50 years later. Oh, you mean this money? Oh, I've had it in I've hated Guy for 50 years. Oh, So I don't know. These are the things I'm pondering these days. Morbid, but kind of going through it. It's been sparked because of our mutual friend a little bit here. Because that's just something that I've been thinking a little bit about that again. If you're wondering where this came from, it's not really out of left field.
It's okay. It's all right. It's okay.
Didn't know if you had any thoughts on that or anything. I've
It's,
laid a lot of interesting stuff on the ground here. I apologize.
oh, nice. No, I just, like I said, like that person, like motivating his workers, like, only some of you are worth a damn. And everyone, of course, thinks that they're the ones
Right?
who are doing all the work. So
Well,
they
that's
go along with it.
thinking. I wonder if that's what's happened. Is I come into the office and I'm like, okay, my name is Price, and I'm looking to see if this is true. Alex, are you doing 50% of the work? Yes.
Oh,
See?
yeah, I am. or yes, I am, because I don't want to get shit canned. I mean,
Right. I don't want to get fired, so yes. It cracks me up. I'm glad you updated your will. That's actually a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
I keep thinking I don't need a will because I don't have anything really that anybody cares about. Except that I really should make a will because I actually do have a couple of things that people care about.
Right.
I just don't think about it because I'm like, in a lot of ways, I still think of myself as the 20-year-old kid that, with ADD that can barely hold a job, And I keep thinking that there's more to it, of course. There is. I've got a family, and even though I don't own the house, because some of us have $60-something thousand in school loans and can't get a loan for a Snickers bar, I'm not bitter or anything. But yeah, so. But yeah.
There we go.
Maybe it is time to do a will for all of us, huh?
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Even if it's just a written thing that you sign. I mean, that's all we had with Mom, because she didn't expect to die at 57, Yeah, but that's the thing that's the thing, Bob. What was causing that? Because I absolutely agree. There are people who screw up all the time. But I always think about that. Like, I think about, and I'm not knocking you, Bob, by the way. I didn't mean that. That sounded much harsher on you than I intended. All of a sudden, Bob's like, and now I know why I hate Guy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's why I started hating Guy. Is that one time. But I mean, that's, I think, the thing. Never clocked out for lunches. I mean, I don't clock out half the time for the things I do because I can't figure out my stupid app on my phone. I'm like, I forget to clock out when I go home, and then I'll come home and I'll be like, oh, crap, what time did I leave? Because then I have to clock out. Then I have to send an email to my boss. I'm sure in this case that wasn't what he was doing. But then, it's.
Yeah, some people will
job.
Take advantage, and it's true.
It does, yeah.
But the vast majority of people don't.
Well, that's you've had a will since you were, well, yes, but Brent, I think you had mitigating circumstances. I mean, like, that's different. When you're in the service, that's a completely different thing. You're being sent off into places where you're not expected to come back. I, on the other hand, just kind of hung out here.
So Guy,
yes.
An aside, especially as we wind down to go to your other show. Since you are more forward now and you're closer to the camera is no longer really picking up the lights at the top of your bookshelf. When you were leaning back and it was picking up those lights, your camera was having trouble parsing the colors of the lights and changes the color of your face. Like, if you lean back.
That's kick butt.
I don't know about that. I found it distracting.
Well, yeah. Well, here. It's like My Favorite Martian.
Right, yeah, right.
All right, I'll try to lean forward.
No, just, it wasn't a big deal. Just it did lend a certain cartoonishness to your visage.
Have you met me? I mean,
No, like I said,
there's
but
a
like,
certain amount of cartoonishness to my visage.
but it was not intentional.
Right, that's true.
And like I said, it was changing your color to like, it would turn like normal, then it would turn slightly red, then it would turn slightly green, then it would.
And you're like,
Yeah. What's
"Oh,
happening here? Can I see the truth now? Am I seeing past the illusion? Can I see his aura?
While I have you on the line, though, my intention is to walk with you tomorrow at the 11:15ish hour.
Sounds good.
So that, just so you know, and then it's supposed to snow on Wednesday. So there's that.
Yup. Boo.
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 Lots of boo. And then probably Thursday I'll be trashed because of that.
Yep.
Looks like it's my theory is that probably the theory is that it probably will be. Now I've forgotten totally what I was saying.
We're probably not gonna get much walking done this week.
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer because I think this really is the last week that we'll be able to walk before you start working. So
Yep. And then during my training I'm gonna be in office Monday through Friday. So
yeah. I think I was gonna say I think that our cycle right now is Wednesdays. It seems to be the middle of the week.
Yeah, Lauren was mentioning that Wednesdays seem to have been really crappy weather the last several weeks. And then but maybe we can get together and do some walking after work. We'll see.
Yeah. There's something about Colorado weather where the weather hits a point where it's 7-day cycle. Mm-hmm. I've noticed that happens. Like there comes a point just about here in winter where it hits a 7-day cycle really clean, and you end up with it snows every Saturday, or it snows every Wednesday, or it snows every Tuesday, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it seems like we get that. That just seems to be a thing.
Cool,
so
man.
For me to get going, my lights have changed.
Go to the other show, buddy.
I will talk to you later. That's all the time we have for today. I've been Guy.
And I've been Alex.
And this is Geek Tank.